Alright guys, I'm on a bit of a roll for the videos. I thought I'd do another one. I just had a nap. My eyes were sore this morning. Um, so what would put me off living in the Philippines? Or what should you look out for living in the Philippines? Um, the first one is relationships, because most of the people that I know that have had problems, I can see the problems in their relationships before they're in a relationship. And what I mean is, often it's them. It could be the case of they're volatile, got drinking issues, got psychological issues, etc., etc. So there's been a lot of guys I know that I've got other stuff going on. And if you're in that sort of condition, whether it doesn't matter what it is, I'd say if you still want to go in a relationship, be open, honest, transparent, and also learn a bit about empathy. So with empathy, it's seeing it from the other perspective. It's not sympathy, it's very different. Empathy is very different. So when you do stupid stuff, recognize the impact that you're having on others, because one of the key things a lot of guys don't. They're a-holes. And that's why they have a lot of problems. And they had problems before they even got to the Philippines. They're generally problematic. I'm not going to go into people I know that are problematic as a whole, simply because they've got enough crap going on. I don't need to start going, oh yeah, you know this guy. Um, so yeah, recognize that. Recognize boredom is a big problem. What's boredom? Boredom is like if you've got a pension or you've got a stable income and you don't really need to work. You need to keep occupied. A lot of people get into the drinking habit at 10 a.m. They get into these problems and other girls and other things like that simply because they have too much time on their hands. Keeping busy and keeping occupied is a key thing to happy relationships, as well as just general well-being and happiness. Having routines is useful. This is why this channel has a lot of things about self-focus. I'll do something on that in a minute. I know that's a separate video, but you need to have some discipline and keep yourself motivated, because like I said, it's very easy for people to take stuff over from you. They'll go to the market for you, people will do your laundry for you, people will brush up the dirt outside, you can get a maid, you can get a driver, you can get lots and lots of people doing everything for you. And a lot of people will offer, because you know people want to make extra money. So it's very easy for a neighbor or the neighbor's daughter, the neighbor's son, to come over and do stuff for you for, like, I don't know, like 20 euros a week or something. Or, well, let's face it, if you start hitting 60 euros a month or something, you're starting to looking at sometimes full-time employees. So to take that into account, you you need to keep busy. Don't become lazy, and you can slip into that easily because it becomes a rut, because you keep stepping back because life's getting easier. You know, napping on the sofa. Go out for a walk, have a nap on the sofa for an hour. It's fine because you went out for a walk. But if you're getting up in the morning, nap on the sofa, watch TV, TV dinner. Just boring routine that's unhealthy. It's not good. It's important that you have routines that can keep you healthy, but also keep your mind active. The weather is another important one. A lot of things people overlook. Philippines gets earthquakes, typhoons, um, tsunamis sometimes. I always mispronounce that. So it's earthquakes. And floods, landslides, major issues. So this is one of the things when people ask me where to live, I will never advise anybody directly where to live. I would say go and do your research. Look back for the last 10 years for natural disasters, etc., and you'll get an overview. Um, I've experienced typhoons, earthquakes, flooding. What else have we had? Typhoons, earthquakes. Ferry disasters as well. There was a lot of ferry disasters over, I think, about 18-month period. Lots of people died on ferry disasters. Motorcycle and car accidents, some major ones. The reason I like riding around the city area is people seem to drive slower because of the congestion. It goes South Road proper when you start going out to the provinces. People are moving fast. At the same time, you get stupid things happen, like people will just pull out in front of you. They'll wave their arm and just pull out, and you may be driving fairly quickly and having to put the brakes on. You get armored cars, buses, trucks going up the middle of the road, and in more than one instance, they've hit an armored car, a bus, or a truck doing exactly the same in the opposite direction. Fatal. Every time. Fatal. People die. So yeah, road safety is not about you. It's about realizing it's the people around you. It may not be you that's going to get you killed. It's very likely someone else around you. I've been in a few instances. I think I had in total about 3 accidents on my scooter. And one. Did I have one on the motorbike? I'm not sure. I don't think I did. I might have one on the motorbike, and that was where I think I did, because I was driving up the road, and a motorbike with sidecar was coming the other way with no lights on in total darkness. So obviously I nearly run into it before I seen it. That's quite a common. People switch the lights off. You'll see vehicles with no lights at all, or they might have one headlight if they're lucky. That sort of stuff can get you killed. That's why you find I spend most of my time on a motorbike, A, in good weather, but B, I try not to be out too late at night, simply because it's the vehicles. There's a lot of vehicles out there that haven't got any lights on them. It's alright in the city, it's not so bad, but I haven't, even that, I'm not far from the house. I'm sure I was on the motorbike, not the scooter, when I nearly got hit head on with another motorbike with no lights on. Robberies happen. There's a lot of guns in the Philippines. Even the McDonald's near where I think it's the one in Talisay. I think they got robbed and there's some shootings there. Now you're probably thinking, Matt, you give me such a crap story, why everything's so bad. Look, I was there for nearly 8 years. I didn't have many issues around me. I was aware of a lot of issues. I was aware of a lot of things people did. A lot of the problems I've seen that expats had is stuff they created themselves. If you just mind your own business and keep yourself to yourself and just enjoying life, most problems don't come to your doorstep. And then use a bit of common sense, like I said, try and avoid going out at, say, midnight on a motorbike. But even then, going into the city wasn't too bad. It's the provinces. When you go out to the provinces, I found it far more dangerous. Because you'll come around a bend where there's no lights, there's no street lights, nothing. And there'll be a dog asleep in the road. Or people coming from somewhere and just run across the road. It's in complete darkness. They're like 2 feet away from you. You just see this kid or whatever just run right across in front of you. So you have to go a lot slower, just from a safe point of view, because they're not where you would expect them to be. Because it'll be like where all you've got around you is like palm trees and bushland and stuff like that, and you just get a random kid run across the road because they've got a hut or a house somewhere nearby, but there's nothing saying there's anything there. It just, so you do get caught out now and again. Healthcare is a major issue. A lot of people have lost everything. They get married, they get set up the house, invest a lot in everything. They invest everything in the Philippines, and then they get sick, and then the hospital slowly drains their cash. To put it in perspective, this was a funny one when my son was born. So I'd been in the hospital all night, because my wife's in labour, son's born. And I thought, you want to go home, have a shower, come back, because I'm not sat in air conditioning. I'm sat out in the corridors and whatever. So I go out, go to the house, have a shower and everything. I think I got some breakfast on the way back or something. Get back, and the hospital's on the panic. And they're going, you left the hospital. Because the guard was in trouble because I had left the hospital. Why? Oh, yeah, because your wife's in here. And it's like, yeah, I think I'd already put down something like 30,000 pesos. But they're sort of like trying to keep you as a guarantor, because in the Philippines you pay the medical bills, so it wouldn't be the first time they wouldn't let somebody leave the hospital that hasn't paid their medical bill yet. But bearing in mind, I'm not the patient, so it was all a bit bizarre. Because I'm like, you can't hold me here; it's illegal. I haven't committed any crime. I don't owe you anything. I'm just the bill payer. So yeah, but I've seen people financially drained as they're older gentlemen that have had, like, say, a stroke or deteriorating health, and because it runs over months, the checks keep coming, the bills keep coming. So you got to take that into account. So medical insurance is I would say a must, or an acceptance to tell your relatives, whatever. As soon as I'm not going to recover, switch the machines off. Brutal, eh? But that's a bit of honesty in there, because otherwise they'll end up losing the house and everything else, trying to keep you alive, even though you're never going to recover. And then if you did recover, you've lost everything. So there's a no-winner situation there. So we've covered the weather, we've covered the crime, we've covered the car incidents and stuff, the ferry disasters. Yeah, I think it was about 14 ferries or something went down over. Might even be more than that in the period of about 18 months or so. And then obviously relationships. Most of it is the guys, but also, even if it's not the guys, there's a lot of stuff that's very on the surface that if you're around guys that have been there a while, they spot it like that. There's an instant thing, which I'll be perfectly honest. I'll talk about some of these, and some of the guys I know, I've never mentioned it because, quite simply, it's not for me to get involved in. They never asked, but then later on their marriages and whatever deteriorated. When they were still a girlfriend boyfriend relationships, first thing you notice when people are introduced, is your partner still on the phone? If she's got her face down on the phone, I'll walk away. Got no respect for you, no respect for anybody in the room. Her main thing is talking to people on the phone. The other problem with that is not that respect in the room. She's listening to people on the phone. Can you get money for it and all that sort of stuff? Because they get problems with relatives, always in their pocket, which is in your pocket. You also get a lot of people that are uneducated, and uneducated doesn't mean that they're bad people, but it does mean sometimes they can often be immature because they've never been sort of grown up. The immaturity can actually have an impact on the relationship long term. It may be cute and funny at the beginning, but later on it can become tiresome. There's a thing called tampo. Tampo is where your partner has they go quiet, don't want to talk to you, being sort of switching off, very childish. In the West, it would be the equivalent of somebody going, "I'm fine." You know they're not fine, and they're going to be stroppy all day. In the Philippines, there's a tampo. Um, and you find a lot of people have that. But at the same time, a lot of that is they just switch off, and they switch off for a period of time. There can be a lot of jealousy as well from partners, so you got to take that into consideration as well. Some of that can be dangerous. I'm not going to go into some of the stuff that's happened to people I know, but some of it's been quite horrific. Where their partners got jealous over something that wasn't even there. It's just that they've got insecurities and other things, and it's caused some major, life-ending issues. Let's put it that way. You go, I bet you're all thinking, well, Matt, this all sounds really doom and gloom. No, these are the worst things. These are the worst things I've experienced. As I said, I spent nearly 8 years there, so meeting so many people. I used to do a blog, but it's all pre-YouTube, before YouTube was what it is today. And then I was doing YouTube sort of towards the end of the Philippines journey. But what I found myself is, on the positive side, I found most Filipinos fairly genuine, and when they weren't genuine, you could see straight through it. Like, if a car's for sale, they'll try and stick some extra money on the car for themselves. So if you said to Joe Blogs, oh, I'm looking for a car, the car will say 50,000. Next time you speak, it's 65,000 because you spoke to them. But if you spoke to the owner direct, they go, oh, it's 50,000. But there's a lot of stick money on everything. There's foreigner tax, which is basically the prices go up simply because you're a foreigner. And you think, well, that's racist. Mate, I get this in Spain. I go to the market. They do, because we have a lot of tourists here. They stick the price up. My wife speaks to them in Spanish because she'll say, I live here, which is like, don't take I know how much things are. So she gets everything at the right price. But they will stick money on stuff. It doesn't matter. It's in the fish market. It doesn't matter. Everything's like taxes are one of the worst. They stick price on taxes. That's why I take I think it's the yellow taxes. Because the white taxes are general taxi, and then there's another set of taxes, this in Cebu, that are from the airport. And I find because you're paying a premium anyway, you don't get any of the haggling that goes on with some of the white cabs. So yeah, I use those because a lot of people won't use them because they're more expensive, and I pay them. I'd rather pay the extra for less headache. But you will find there's foreigner taxes, and you'll probably think, well, that puts me off straight away. It depends. There is times where it works in your favour, where, for example, you need something done where you need, I don't know, let's say the electrical board, they want to charge you, say, 3,000 pesos for doing something, and it can come in next week, where you can speak to the same guy, says, do you want to work the weekend? I'll give you 1,000. And he'll come and do it cash. That's reality. And the other key thing of that is ask them. They're not going to offer it. You need to ask them and say, well, how much you do it for cash? And you find you can sort of beat the system in that way. And I wish a lot more of society was like that in the West. We get robbed blind by so many things in the West simply because they're cartels and monopolies. At least you can have a bit of manipulation with it. Doesn't matter if it's to do with running TV, cable, internet, telephone, electricity. Everybody's approachable. It doesn't matter what it is. There's some flex with most people. The only thing I won't do is actually rip off anybody. I'm not asking them to give me a company's parts or something. I'm asking for their skills, not their company's skills. Internet's improved a lot. Internet, when I first got there, we were on a mast, and I think it got 1.5 to 3 megabyte. I think it was supposed to be 10 meg, but it never got to 10. It was intermittent. We get a typhoon or something, the transponders were taken out. You'd lose the internet for a week, a month. I know Chip on Pilar, they lost electricity, internet and stuff for a year. They got hammered though with the storms and stuff. Chip's a really nice guy. I like to see him when I get the chance. But the point being is, when you go into the Philippines, it's a change. It's a change, and there's two things here. Firstly, it takes you out your comfort zone, which I always recommend anyway. If you're in a rut and doing the same thing and same routines and getting bored of life and whatever, you're only living one life, and you're living this part of it. Going off to the Philippines, and I recommend the Philippines in Asia is one of the first places to start. And the reason being is they all speak English. It's easy to sort the visas out. It's easy to assimilate in the community. The cost of living is reasonable, because if it's heavy in the city, just move further out. The further out you go, the cheaper it gets. I mean, even food, if you go to other islands away from Cebu City, etc., you will see the cost of living drops. But at the same time, your access to cash points, your access to medical, your access to infrastructure reduces as well. So you just got to weigh up what's ideal for you. But the Philippines as a whole is fantastic. There's a lot of places to visit. There's a lot, lots of islands, lots of different cultures there, and it sits. I mean, Cebu in the central Visaya. You've got access to head down south for like Mindanao. You've got access to Luzon in the north with Manila, etc. East and west. And part of what's good for typhoon season is Cebu City is protected by other islands. It still gets hit, don't get me wrong, but there's a good chance, 9 times out of 10, that the storms hitting will have cooled down a bit by the time they've actually reached Cebu by battering other islands first. But I can't think of too many downsides beyond that. The upside is you'll have to have strong independence. It's very easy to get a good partner that you can rely on. Cost of living is reasonable. Food is accessible with fresh fish, fresh meat, fresh vegetables. It's all available. You may not be used to doing more than pressing ping in the microwave, but there's two things here. One, learn to cook, and B, access to people that can cook, and you get people to do the stuff for you. The other important bit is public transport is reasonably good. When I say reasonably good, they may not have all the state-of-the-art vehicles, but it's easy to get anywhere. Because there's so many layers, for like I said before, from buses down to, you got your buses, then you have your V-car, V-hire, your taxis, your jeepneys, your multi-cabs, your tricycads, your habble, your pedal cabs. There's so many different types of public transport. It's very easy to get anywhere. Even when you start going out to the ports and they go to other islands, they got fast cats, they got bankers, they got Ro-Ro. Ro-Ro is RORO, which is roll on, roll off ferries. You have easy access to move around. So if you create a base somewhere where you're in a nice area with people that you can trust, because you obviously want to make sure that you don't have to worry about burglary or this, security. If you have that set up, then traveling and visiting other places will keep you busy for at least 2 or 3 years, just traveling around, seeing different areas. and accommodation can go from virtually nothing to premium. You know, if you look at the cost of, say, what's good in Cebu City area. So you've got the Shangri-La. Shangri-La's over on Mactan Island. There's multiple waterfront hotels. They're quite good. And you can see the range. The cheapest I've stayed in a place in the Philippines was 20 pesos a night. Most expensive, enough. Yeah, yeah. I do like. To be fair, the waterfront's really nice. I haven't actually been into the Shangri-La. Been in the one in Oman because the company I used to work for built it. But I haven't been in the one in. Mactan Island. So you have a lot of opportunity on your doorstep. The food, I recommend you can try shed loads of different things because there's a lot of local food. It's either bad or really good. That's the way I find it. There's a lot of stuff I don't like, and there's a lot of stuff I really do like. Yeah, I like sizzling sisig. I don't know if I've done a video on that previously, but that's made from like pig ears and the face of the pig. That's really tasty. If you go to AA Barbecue, they do a really good version of that. You know, we've got the meat is sizzling on a hot plate with an egg on the top, and you mix it together with rice. Really good that is. Chicken adobo, which obviously is quite a famous one for the Philippines. Noodles can be quite good. You know, pancit canton. And something that we may not like is balut. Balut is like it's an egg. It's an egg embryo, a chick in an egg. That's like Chinese, Philippines type thing. But the key to it is there's something for everybody. If you're a city liver wanting that city lifestyle, there's a lot of developments that are, I'd say, almost American developments. You know, like retirement home sort of setups, where you've got high-rise apartments and then you've got shopping malls right there, with all the little parks and stuff around it. Beautiful places. You got places you go out and you get farm out in the middle of nowhere. And you have farms up in the mountains, farms that are more rice fields and stuff like that. Or, you know, agricultural farms. There's lots of varieties if that's what you want to do. You can have like a house in like a subdivision. Subdivision's normally a secure development. Not all have guards, but a lot of them do, where they're like walled off, and they'll have like a barrier and the guards, and then all the housing developments inside that. You can have good and bad ones of those. But it's all about what you want to do. And what I like about the Philippines is because you got people that are poor all the way to stupidly wealthy. There's so many layers in there. There's something to fit everybody. I mean, some of the guys that some of the original guys from when I went out to the Philippines, so live in some of the poorest neighborhoods, and they're happy there. They've been there a long time. I'm not going to go into different people, but you know, some of it is like they don't want the complexities of life, so they sort of give, like, say, half their pension to their partner, and they just deal with everything, and they're just happy, just pondering around, doing their own thing, not having to worry about food, electric, or anything. They just leave all the headache for their partner. Partner's happy because they're obviously be able to accumulate some wealth out of that, because Filipinos are very resourceful. Yeah, it's fantastic. And the same as you want to do something specific or interesting, you'll find people that there's a lot of talent in the Philippines. I can't remember what it make it. There was something. Was it a fuel tank? It might be in the fuel tank for my father-in-law's motorbike. They made it. They fabricated it. They went and bent the metal and come back and cut it, and they, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of artisans, a lot of skills. So you can get a lot of stuff made, and I'm not going to go into what some of my friends make money on, because they've hit niches. They obviously were comfortable enough to talk to me about their businesses, so I'm not going to tell you some of the stuff that some of these guys get up to. But I would say, if there is niche markets for custom made stuff and handmade stuff and good art stuff, the Philippines has got lots of people capable of doing it. One of the important bits is, though, if you're going to do something as a business or a venture, you'll find in the Philippines, if it's easy to replicate, everybody around you replicates it. I think when we did the first internet cafe, as soon as we had ours up and running, it's working, other people seen it, and then there's about 7 or 9 around you. We got Wi-Fi, peso at the internet at the minute. We've got a lot of competition now. Because you got to bear in mind, a lot of OFWs, overseas Filipinos, have a lot of family in the Philippines that are all on drip feed. They all need money every month, all like that. So this is why they're keen to invest in businesses to get them off the drip feed. And I've got to admit, a lot of people are a lost cause, but at the same time, it's not for me to talk about other people's families in that way. It's just that I can see a lot of people will go through about 20, 30 ventures, and the money goes, the equipment goes, they do not move forward. And it's not everybody. If you ask me about my family, Aga was already doing the peso internet. It was me that invested in his venture. He was already running. He didn't need my money. He needed some help after we got hit with a typhoon. But at the same time, he took a loan out from us and then paid it back, because I do 0% loans for family, etc. But the point being is, the family are all fairly sustainable. They look after themselves. They don't come from me needing help. It's only if there's a massive issue that people need help, and even then, everyone pays it back. I'd say most OFWs aren't that lucky. It's a different environment. But anyway, I just want to talk that, there is some negative stuff out there. There will be problems, and the reason I put it forward is because a lot of people will jump ship, go there. Oh, Matt said this, Matt said that. It's, look, I'm not your dad. I'm not your parent. I'm not here to guide you to what you want to do in life. I can tell you from my experience and what happened for me. I love the Philippines. I had some fantastic times there. I'll happily go back, and I was going through family photos last night, and I thought I needed to go back next year. I'm missing the chaos, the bustle, the noise, and family members. So I'm gonna have to go back. Oh, and Citizen Sissig from AA Barbecue. I need to go and do a road trip, but next week, for the next month, I'm on a road trip anyway. I'm back at work, but my son's coming to us with London. Well, I'm in and out of London, but we're going to do some lad stuff, because he's going to spend a bit of time in the UK. I'm not going to jinx this yet, but we might be going to see some Spitfires and stuff, because one of April's classmates, if you've seen the TV show Spitfire, you'll see there's a Filipino guy on there that's a mechanic. It's one of April's classmates, one of her friends. So we're going to see if we can go and see the Spitfires, because that's a big thing. My son's into World War II stuff. I want to see the tank museum and all that sort of gubbins. Yeah, I think I said before, he's more British than I am in many ways. He's very proud of his heritage and stuff, and I want to sort of reinforce that. So I'm going to do the British museums, Science Museum, all the London museums. I'm going to do all that stuff. Take him in. I say take him into town, which is actually going in London. But yeah, some good times ahead. So what else is there to say? When you go to the Philippines, you will find it a big culture shock initially. Let it settle in, relax, don't panic too much. Find out where your nearest. If you're staying for where you need to get another visa renewal, find out where your nearest immigration office is. The paperwork's not a headache; it's just a process. But just settle in slowly. Take your time. It's like when people get into relationships. Look, just go there and just settle in. Like going into any new neighborhood. Get in there, find out where your local bakery is, where the local where the wet market is. Fresh fish, etc. And just get to understand the area. You'll find friends extremely easy because first thing is people start approaching you and go, are you looking for a house? Do you want a house? Oh, I've got, because there's two things. One, people are friendly, but B, they can often make some money off the back of you. Even if it's an introductory for an apartment or something, they suddenly made 500 pesos, 1,000 pesos for the intro. And you don't have even to get involved in that. They do that themselves. They're not, like I says, most people are very switched on. They know how to make a buck. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. One thing I will say, just enjoy yourself. That's the key to it.